work out the last time we met, or do you know what? I tell you what, I know what I did do very early on when you were at Port Vale. I did an interview with you. That's the first time we met because we were doing the new Robbie Earle, following the footsteps of Robbie. I don't know if you remember that, and I can't remember whether it was for. It must have been for Sky.
Mate, that's a long time ago.
I'm delighted you'll get. I noticed. See, the other thing about these interviews, one, it's lovely to speak to people I haven't spoken to for ages. But two, I end up as some kind of weird stalker because you obviously, you follow what you've been doing for the last so many years. I just watched all your goals. You were good.
Oh, I was all right. I did okay.
I tell you what, I just wanted. Do you know what they used to say? You speak to all the managers. Yeah, strikers. But a goal-scoring midfielder, that's the one. Which you were. And I don't know whether if they exist, but not in your kind of style. I can't think of any.
Rob, they're what are called box-to-box midfielders.
Yeah.
And you don't see many of those. I mean, the ones that come to mind with me are always Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard. Do you know what I mean? And those kind of players, then they're few and far between now, aren't they?
But what did you do? I mean, I was watching Pogba. I was going to speak to you and say, the one thing the game has changed. Imagine you sort of just outside your penalty box and the goalie's pinging you a ball and you've got to turn. I mean, that's changed. But your style of breaking into the box with headed goals, left foot, right foot. Geez, you'd be worth billions, mate. Never mind millions.
I was just years too early, wasn't I, really? I'll be living in a massive mansion now, mate. But, it's a shame. But, it's what I modelled my game on. I just had an engine and I like to defend as well as get forward. So, I like to get myself into the box. And, Rudgie at Port Vale, he sort of recognised that and wanted to get me into the league, which was great.
What is the key to that? Is it timing of the run? Is it being aggressive when the ball comes over? Is there a key to being a goal scoring midfielder?
There is a knack. I mean, like I said, you asked especially the likes of Frank Lampard. He definitely had a knack of getting forward and getting into the box and scoring goals. And there is a knack of timing and anticipation as well. So and it's just something that came naturally to me. It's not something that I worked on at all. It just came naturally.
I guess at that point as well, you had players thinking, well, we know Tails is going to make a run into the box at some point.
Well, yeah. And, I think I did a lot of strikers a few favours as well because I sort of took defenders' eye off the ball and took them away from our strikers as well. So it helped them as well.
Listen, I've got a billion questions. I'm falling over myself with all the questions I want to ask you. When you were at Moor Green, did you think your time had gone, or did you always think you were going to make it as a pro?
Well, a lot's made of the likes of Jamie Vardy these days, and you're talking nearly 30 years ago. I was doing exactly the same thing. I was working in a warehouse and playing football part time, and then Port Vale took the leap of faith and took me from Moor Green. But yeah, when I was at Moor Green, I was just working in a warehouse and just thinking, I'm going to play on a Saturday part time. Never ever thought or had any visions of being a professional. I just was enjoying my football part time, and I just got better and better. And at a youth age, I was nowhere near it really, because there were other players in my school and in my district I was playing with the likes of Julian Dix as well in my school team. And, there were likes of him who were always sort of going to go on and be professionals, and I was nowhere near it then.
At the same time as well, I mean, one of the other big changes is, I did some work with Emil Heskey in a couple of years back, and I think Emil's boy was 6, and he'd just gone into Manchester City's academy, and it's almost like if you don't get picked up by an academy these days, you're nowhere. But I mean, was it a massive jump from Moor Green to into the pros, if you like?
Do you know, it wasn't. I didn't take any time to settle in at all, really. I had good pros around me as well who helped me settle in. But and one of the reasons I did go to Port Vale was because the gap wasn't that big, and I thought I'd get into the team straight away and I'd be able to play straight away. I didn't want to. I had the opportunity to go to the first division with Notts County, and I just thought I didn't want to go there and be in the reserves, and I just wanted to play straight away. And at my age at that time, you know, I didn't have the time to hang about really. So I went to Port Vale. I thought it would be a lower league, and I'd get in and play straight away.
Listen, we talk Villa and all this kind of thing. What I want to ask you as well, it's your fashion, because you're no longer a footballer. You're like entrepreneur. You're also, well, and it's just like, it's not Ian Taylor anymore. It's Ian Taylor, Global Football Pro. What is Global Football Pro?
Well, I think first and foremost, we're like a few other companies at the moment that can't do much because of COVID-19.
Join the club.
Yeah, it's all based around academies, youth academies from all over the world, and us bringing them to the UK to play against academies in the UK, whether it be tournaments or just to come and play a few friendlies and train at different venues. But we've got some great contracts with some big clubs to use their facilities. So, you know, the likes of Man City, we've played there, the likes of Liverpool, Man United. So, you know, these kids from, say, America, they have the opportunity to go to Man United's training ground and play against their academy, and it's fantastic for them. But we put a whole trip together where we'll take them to a Premier League match, meet some ex-pros, and, you know, maybe some present pros as well, Q&As, and it's a fantastic trip for them. But not just for the players, but the parents come as well. So the parents get to see the whole thing as well.
Is there a scouting element to it? Is there a bit of kids? I mean, I come back from Dubai, and I mean, we brought teams over. Do you know what? You would have been perfect for us. They'd go and play in tournaments, but with a little bit of a means to an end of thinking, well, we'll test our lads against sort of like, you know, the English lads type of stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely that element, but I mean, first and foremost, it's for the experience that we bring them over. Then, you know, if the likes of Man United spot a kid and ask us a few questions, then so be it. But it's not the aim, Rob. It's just purely for them to come and, like you say, test themselves against the best academies in the UK. Are
you still making headphones?
Yeah, I'm still doing that as well.
For people who don't know, go on, tell us about the headphones.
It's called IT7 Audio. We do running headphones. We do normal headphones that you just listen to music on. Do the odd speaker as well. So it's a nice range that you can get on Amazon, which, you know, Amazon you can get most things on these days. But yeah, it's ticking over nicely.
Brilliant. Listen, will your beloved Villa stay up, do you think?
Well, I've got my fingers crossed like every other Villa fan, Rob. I think we did ourselves a massive favour the other day, beating Crystal Palace. I mean, I've been disappointed with us this season at different stages where, you know, we've played the likes of Watford and the likes of Bournemouth at times when we needed to win, and we didn't find those results. And so we find ourselves in the position that we're in at this moment in time. So, you know, it's going to go right down to the wire, I think. But yeah, we did do ourselves a massive favour the other day, beating Crystal Palace. But we got some big games coming up now.
I mean, I've actually never met Dean Smith. Seems like one hell of a nice fella, and obviously Villa through and through.
You know, well, I've had the opportunity to be with his family at games and speak to everybody, and his family they're the nicest people that you'll ever meet, and they are all Villa through and through. And you know, you just so want him to succeed because he's got the club at heart. You know, I'm not sure about you know, generally the recruitment side of things, and maybe we should have got a few more players in who had the Premier League experience. But, you know, the likes of Sheffield United, they've done it and they've done well. But it's one of those. Just fingers crossed that we can get through it and hopefully build for next season.
What's it like? And do you still do? I know you're doing some ambassador stuff there. Do you still go and stand on the terraces with your brother and your mates and all that kind of thing?
Well,
Obviously not now.
Yeah, those days are gone. Going with my brother and that. But I have been to the odd away game where I've been with my mates and stuff. But I think I said not so long ago to a few people that, sometimes you want to go and enjoy the game, but you're taking selfies all match. But which is nice. But sometimes you just want to go and enjoy the match. But I'm lucky enough to be the club ambassador at the moment and do quite a good things for the football club, and I'm lucky enough to go to all the games and be in the director's box, which is nice. And I've been going to all the games in lockdown as well, the home games anyway. But it's such a different feeling, Rob, going to an empty stadium and seeing the guys play. It must be difficult for them going out there and trying to perform with no crowd.
Was it doubly special for you to play for your hometown club or the club you certainly supported with all your family and whatever? Can you put into words what it meant when you sort of made your debut?
It's just a different feeling altogether, Rob. I think when I signed for Villa, I already knew I was going to sign because my agent had told me, and I just couldn't get there quick enough because I was just about to move to Sheffield because I was at Sheffield Wednesday and I'd only been there 6 months. And Trevor Francis called me in his office one day and told me that Villa had come in for me. And I already knew because my agent had told me. And when you go into the office and you try not to laugh. And I tried to keep a straight face. And he said, "Well, Villa have come in for you. Do you want to go?" And I says, "Damn right I do." And I couldn't get up there quick enough. So it was just the best feeling in the world. And my debut was against Arsenal away at Highbury, where we drew 0-0. But my home debut was against Chelsea at home, and when we beat them 3-0. And I managed to score on my home debut at the Holt End, where I used to stand with all my mates there and my family and everything. And it was just if you could have written it, it couldn't have gotten any better.
I tell you what, you played in some good sides, didn't you, in your career at Villa?
Yeah, we had some good players down the years. I mean, I've always said the best player I've ever played with, Dwight York, who I think lives over in Dubai now. There's some fantastic games, some fantastic memories. Playing in Europe as well. Had some fantastic nights in Europe, and they'll live with me forever.
Yeah, I mean, also a team of characters that from Savo to Carboni to people like Merce to people like it wasn't quite a rogues gallery, but there were some characters there, weren't there? Oh
yeah, I mean, we were a club at that time where some big players came to the club, and we had the likes of Peter Schmeichel who came later on in his career and who'd won everything and done everything, and what a fantastic guy, David Ginola as well. Some big names, and I was lucky enough to play with them. But sometimes you see these guys on the TV, but then when you get to know them, they're such great guys as well. And some happy memories and some really good times.
Do you keep in touch with the ex-players?
Yeah, a lot, especially with what I do now with Global Football Pro. We get some of those guys to come along and speak to the kids and have Q&As as well. And a lot of them have been fantastic and come along and passed on their experience, and it's been brilliant.
What was John Gregory like to work for?
It was good. I love working for John. Because I think with John, I was his kind of player. So he loved the likes of myself, who worked hard and gave everything. And he had a few dodgy moments with some of the flair players, but I like working for John. It's a shame really, because under John and Brian Little, we were really, really close to being a top side. And it was just one of the regrets in my career is that we just couldn't push on and challenge for the league title because we were really, really close.
Why was that? Was it just a case of experience, maybe play? I mean, I know Dwight York left at a key time, and when you were a really
Yeah.
good side. I mean, what was it? Can you put your finger on why it just couldn't quite get over the line?
Yeah, I think when we got teams together, like you say, with Dwight in the team, if we didn't make it at that moment in time, then one of the top sides would come and take your best players, or take a Dwight to sort of then, you know, set us back a few steps. So we were always like a top 5, top 6, you know, top 8 side, but we just couldn't make it into that top 4. And because when we had the chance, you know, our top players were taken. So, you know, we then became mid-table and maybe struggled for a year, and then got back up to the top 8. But yeah, it's just a shame we couldn't sustain it, really.
Can you pick out, apart from your debut, can you pick out one Villa memory or one Villa game that you'd say, yeah, that's the one I'll take?
God, blimey.
League Cup final?
I think, I know a lot of people think that because it was a trophy, and it's the last trophy that we won at Villa, actually. But now, my home debut was one, a standout memory, because of what it stood for. The one where we beat Man United, first game of the season, that was the next season, where we got Brian Little had built a new team, and it was the first game of the season, and we played Man United, and we absolutely battered them.
You don't win anything. Is that the one?
Yes, it was. It was, yeah. Young David Beckham made his... I think he scored for them. But yeah, I managed to score the opening goal, and it was the start of a really good season for us. And it was good because Brian Little had only come the season before, and he'd made 4 or 5 signings, and we're a brand new team. And we opened the season, we beat Man United, which was fantastic.
Who was your hero growing up?
Oh, Gordon Cowans. Gordon Cowans, because he was a midfield player and obviously played for Villa. And he's one player that I grew up watching. And I was lucky enough for him to be a coach of one of the teams when I was playing at Villa as well. So, you know, my idol was one of the coaches as well. I've had a catalogue of sort of instances in my career where it's like mind-blowing, and it's just dream come true stuff. So it's fantastic.
Toughest opponent?
Cool.
Got so many. When you think of those, the King, the Scholeses, the Gerrards, do you?
Yeah. I think toughest was probably Patrick Vieira.
Mm-hmm. Why?
It's funny. Because he was similar to myself.
Yeah.
And physically, anyway. Paul Scholes was another one in a different way, because he was just so elusive, and you just never knew where he was. And he was probably, Paul Scholes was probably the best midfielder I've played against, but Vieira was the toughest. So, but you know, in different ways they were tough. But funny enough, I got to know Patrick because I met him on holiday as well, and we became good friends after that, which was weird. Then having to play against him, do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
We tended to start giggling at times in the games and stuff, which wasn't very professional. But we're taking the mickey out of each other. But no, he was a top guy as well.
Apart from Villa Park, best place you've played or one you enjoyed playing at?
Probably Anfield was one, and St James's, Newcastle, was another one. Atmosphere, both because of the atmosphere. Just amazing.
Have you any regrets in your career?
Yeah. Having to leave Villa, I didn't really like the way that I left. But
tell me about that, because there's an iconic picture, isn't there, of you and sort of Dion's in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Leeds away, Rob, and I only found out. You know, I had a feeling that because my contract wasn't renewed before then, I had a feeling they were going to let me go. But I was only officially told the night before the Leeds match that they weren't going to, renew my contract, which
Thanks, lads. Thanks for that.
I know, which was gutting really, because we played against Sunderland at home the week before, and that if they'd have told me then, before then, I could have had a decent send off at Villa Park. but it was Leeds away. But that was a bit a bit salty about that, really. But it's the way it goes.
Did you get a chance to say ever goodbye, or I suppose you didn't really, did you, at Villa Park?
Not really, but they did invite me back, and it was one of those in the suit on the pitch, and but wasn't quite the same. Wasn't quite the same. And some supporters did put on a night somewhere where supporters could come along and say goodbye, but just wasn't quite the same. But my biggest regret was probably the cup final in 2000 when we lost to Chelsea 1-0 in probably one of the worst cup finals ever, and Di Matteo scored for Chelsea, and it was the last FA Cup final at Wembley, at the old Wembley. And
why does it not just? I remember watching that, and I think I went out for 7 cups of tea. It wasn't the best.
I wish I had.
Why did it not happen? Why, it's such a big, you build yourself up.
I don't know. Like you say, you build yourself up for that day, and we just didn't perform on the day. And I just don't know why, because we had a good team and we were well capable of beating Chelsea on that day. But it just didn't happen. And to be on that stage, and you know yourself, the whole world watches that game, and to play the way we did was just, it wasn't us. It wasn't the Villa that we were at that time.
Okay, I don't want to dwell on negatives on this one. What about positives? What's coming up for you? What's in Ian Taylor's future and on the horizon when this dreadful pandemic finally ceases?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that I'm watching Premier League football next season. After last night, I've realised that we could be going to Wycombe Wanderers next season if we don't pull our fingers out. So that sort of brought it home, really. No disrespect to Wycombe, and well done to them, by the way. But, But that kind of brings it home. But there is that. And like you say, with COVID-19, I'm just hoping that it's over and done with as quickly as possible, and my business can get back on track, Rob. We're looking at sorting things out. The good thing about it is that we can plan things for next year now, and hopefully next year we'll be fine, and everybody will be okay, and we'll be that little bit nearer back to normal.
Hey, listen, thanks for taking time to talk to us today. I really appreciate it. It's been too long seeing you. Hopefully I'll catch up with you in person very soon as well. Stay safe. And thanks a lot, pal. Really appreciate it.
No problem, Rob. No problem. And I like what you've done to your hair as well, mate.
You know what? I have to say, my wife did a dog grooming course. So
I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing.
Well, I'm fine with it, because I sat in the back garden and she goes, "You need a haircut," because like everybody, you look at everybody after, and everybody's like that, aren't they? And I'm like, "Oh, go on then." So she's got the dog. I actually looked before I came to speak. I looked in the mirror and went, "Oh God," but I'm getting a lot off. Oh, jeez.
I've been doing my own for a while, mate. So
seriously, it was a couple of years ago. I was in Dubai. It was red hot, and I just went, "I've had enough of this." And boom, 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 boom. And do you know what? You feel kind of good.
Yeah, I know.
And next time I see you, it'll be like that. Hey, thanks a lot, Ian. Take care, pal.
No problem, mate. Thanks a lot.
See you, mate.